During the COVID pandemic, I would like to deliver lecture on HSC English class. Topic: gerund. This is MD.ABDUS SALAM, Assistant Professor, DEBOTTOR Degree College. How are you, students? I hope you are all well. Gerund. Form and use. The gerund has exactly the same form as the present participle. For example, running, speaking, working, and so on. It can be used in the following ways. A. As the subject of a sentence. It can be used as the subject of a sentence. For example, dancing bored him. Here, dancing is the subject of this sentence. B. As a complement of a verb. As a complement of a verb. Her hobby is painting. Here, painting is an object. Number C. After prepositions. He was accused of smuggling. Here, smuggling is a gerund. Number D. After certain verbs. Number E. In noun compounds. A driving board. A board for driving off. The gerund here carries the main stress. Gerund as subject. As already seen, we have noticed either infinitive or gerund can be the subject of a sentence when an action is being considered in a general sense. We can say, for example, it is easier to read French than to speak it, or reading French is easier than speaking it. The gerund, like the infinitive, can be the subject of a clause placed after believe, consider, discover, expect, find, think, wonder, etc. After find, we can omit that and the verb be, that is, we can say, He found that parking was difficult, or he found parking was difficult. But it is safer not to omit be after other verbs. Note the possible difference between gerund and infinitive here. For example, he found parking difficult would mean that he usually or he always found it difficult. He found it difficult to park could refer to one particular occasion. It could also mean that he always found it difficult. But it is more usual to express this idea by a gerund. The gerund is used in short prohibitions. Notice some examples. No smoking, no waiting, no fishing. But this cannot be followed by an object. So, prohibitions involving an object are usually expressed by an imperative. For example, do not touch these wires. Do not feed the lions. Gerunds are used in the saying, seeing is believing. Notice here sincerely, seeing is believing. Next come another examples. Gerunds after prepositions. When a verb is placed immediately after a preposition, the gerund form must be used. Notice some examples. What can you do besides typing? What can you do besides typing? Here notice typing. I have no objection to hearing your story again. Touch your toes without bending your knees. Here bending. Gerund. He is at diving. She is fond of climbing. Notice the word diving, climbing. I am not keen on gambling. Look at the word gambling. I'm too afraid of losing. He was fined for being drunk in search of a car. Look at the word being. I am against saying anything. Here you see saying is a gerund. I am for saying nothing. Look at the word saying. Saying is a gerund. I am tired of arguing. Here arguing is a gerund. I am fed of waiting. So notice the gerund. This is a tool for opening. Do you feel like going out? After swimming, I felt cold. After swimming, I felt cold. She disapproves of jogging. What about leaving it here and collecting it later? Leaving and collecting. He is thinking of immigrating. Look at the word immigrating. I'm sorry for keeping you waiting. Keeping and waiting. They escaped by sliding down a rope. Sliding. We had difficulty in finding a parking place. Parking place. You should be ashamed of yourself for behaving so badly. In spite of starting late, he arrived in time. Aren't you interested in making money? Notice the word making. There's no point in waiting. A number of verbs plus preposition, adverb, combinations, phrasal verbs. Take the gerund. The most common of these are be for, against, care, for, give up, keep on, live up, look forward to, put off, see, about, take to, and so on. I don't care for standing in queues. Standing, here you notice the word standing is a gerund. Eventually, the dogs left off barking. Barking is a gerund. I'm looking forward to meeting her. Meeting, meeting is a gerund. He put off making a decision till he had more information. He took to ringing us up in the middle of the night. So notice the gerund. This word, the word to, this word often causes confusion as it can be either a part of an infinitive or a preposition. To placed after the auxiliary verbs be, have, ought, used, and after going. In expressions such as the be going to form is the part of the infinitive of the following verb and is only added to remind students that the preceding verb, notice the preceding verb takes the full infinitive. I mean the infinitive with to. To is often placed after hate, hope, intent, would like, would love, mean, plan, very, try, want, and some others. Avoid repetition of infinitive already mentioned. For example, did you buy cheese? No, I meant to buy some, but the shop was shut. Examples of verb plus gerund sentences. He admitted taking the money. Avoid overeating. Here you notice the word overeating. Taking. Would you consider selling the property? Selling. He detests writing letters. Writing. Notice the word writing is a gerund. He dreads getting old. Getting. Do you enjoy teaching? Do you enjoy teaching? Here you notice the word teaching. He narrowly escaped being run over. Being. Fancy meeting you. Putting in a new window will involve cutting away part of the roof. He kept complaining. Notice the word complaining. He didn't want to risk getting wet. He didn't want to risk getting wet. Here you notice the word getting. If we buy plenty of food, now it will save shopping later in the week. Notice the words shopping. the students, I can't understand his or I can't understand him leaving his wife. I can't understand his leaving his wife. Here, leaving is a gerund. I couldn't help laughing. Here, laughing uh, is a gerund. It's no need. It's no use arguing. Here, arguing, notice the word arguing, dear students. Is there anything here worth buying? Is there anything here worth buying? The students notice the word buying. Verbs, possessive, adjective or noun object plus gerund. If the verb or verb plus preposition is followed directly by the gerund refers to the subject of the verb. Notice what I have told. If the verb or verb plus preposition is followed directly by the gerund refers to the subject of the verb. For example, Tom insisted on reading the letter. Tom read it. That means Tom read it. But if we put a possessive adjective or pronoun before the gerund refers to the person denoted by the possessive adjective or pronoun. He insisted on me reading it. That is, I had to read it. Use verbs and expressions which can take either constructions are. For example, dislike, propose, understand, dread, recollect, approve or disapprove of, fancy, remember, insist on, involve, resent, it is no good, it is no use, like, save, object to, mean, stop, there's no point in. For example, there's no point in arguing. Notice, mind, suggest, what's the point of, for example, what's the point of living without you? Notice the word, what's the point of living? For example, he disliked working late. You notice the word, dear students, working. He disliked me or he disliked my working late. Here you notice the word working. I object to paying twice for the same thing. I repeat the sentence. I object to paying twice for the same thing. I object to I object to him making private calls on this phone. Making. Dear students, observe sincerely the word making. Making private calls on this phone. Another example. He resented being passed over for promotion. Being. He resented my or he resented me being promoted before him. So notice the word being. So the student should understand gerund clearly. I hope all the students, I hope you all understand my lecture. Stay in touch with me. Follow me if you feel any problem. There seems to be no problem. And this is all for this class. I thank you. Observe my next class. And that's all.